I suck at Destiny 2. That's a thought that runs through my head all the time. With it, an empty feeling where everyone tells you you're doing great, but you feel like you're doing nothing at all. My friends are solo flossing raids, doing low man challenges, and even learning how to do an entire raid encounter and then clearing it just because they got bored. And me? I'm holding the team back from not being able to do something as simple as jump. I hated the feeling. I wanted to improve. This was when I was in the chat of Llama's stream. He told me the best thing I could do to improve is solo challenges, be it in raids or in dungeons. Independent of any help, success or failure was solely dependent on me. So I began my journey to solo one phase every possible dungeon boss. During this challenge, I set myself a couple rules, as I knew I would potentially want to turn this into a video down the line. Firstly, no help, a given by the nature of this challenge, but no help in mechanics or damage. No well, no div, just in like those sneaky beaver shorts. Everything has to be done by me, and me alone. Secondly, I have to see every attempt to the end. Even if I mess up the beginning or I'm late, I could still clear if it's a forgiving boss. Thirdly, I get one clear. Even if it's ugly, even if I barely clear. If it killed, it's in this video. I don't want to show perfection, I want to show progress and a human side. Finally, I want to, where possible, or I felt like it, vary my loadout and my damage strategy to give other subclasses and weapons that I don't usually use a chance to shine and force me to adapt. Now, first, I went in order of release, as difficulty would only increase the further I got. Vorgus was the first to fall, with a couple grenades, a super, and mint. Tulankaru fell similarly just a few moments later, and with that the first dungeon was completed. Solmak also fell quickly, although it was a lot closer than I would have liked. Thinking this boss was easy, I got complacent, and due to mismanaging my buffs, I almost didn't clear. It's a habit I would get punished for very much later. Phalanx Echo and the Kel Echo saw a rare appearance of my Titan, a character I don't really level much or play. Using random weapons I had on my character and making sure I had a global buff and a global debuff, they both fell pretty quickly. With those 3 dungeons done, that marked the end of the easy dungeons. From this point on, each dungeon would only become more difficult and require more thought. First up was Grasp. Furizia fell pretty easily to the crossbow. The challenge became balancing the buffs, the mechanics, and just the positioning of the boss. Avarok would test me even more on my timing and my management, on top of the fact that I just sucked at grappling when I first started, and in the end, I barely killed. The issues of the previous 2 bosses followed me into Duality 2. Golrand would test me. The knockback, the grapple placement, the distance, the refreshing of my buffs, and the general speed I needed to kill him just wasn't there. Ultimately, he didn't last long, but he was by far the hardest boss I had done up to this point. Kaito saw the return of my Titan for a last time. Having struggled on Hunter for a 1-bell kill, I took a step back and looked at it objectively. Why would I go for a 1-bell kill when I have 3 bells? After changing my mindset a little, Kaito fell to the Bonk Titan. Spire marks a turning point for me. The bosses from here on out would require more setup, more learning, and more repetition. Not to mention I broke the order that I did the bosses in. Achelos fell pretty easily. Well, once I stopped wasting my super by shooting my own grenade. It's a lesson in that sometimes speed hurts you more than taking a second longer to breathe. Overall, this boss seemed difficult, but it was actually pretty easy, getting it down in only 5 attempts. If you're expecting Percy's next, I'm sorry to disappoint. It would take me a while to get back to the chicken. Ekthar was up next, and he humbled me a little. The overconfidence I had from running Ghost a couple times made me think that this was easy. Messed up timings, impatience, and oversight meant I barely killed. As also, at this point, it was pointed out to me I was grappling wrong, and it was slowing me down. But I did kill, even though I shouldn't have, and I was forced to move on. Samuma would break me. A flying boss, my lack of skill with grappling, the enemies, the damage, it was just too much for me. I said I would come back to Samuma after taking a short break. Inevitably, Ratil then became my punching bag to let out some frustrations, and he almost fell too easily. I immediately followed up Ratil with Renegades, as I wanted a sense of accomplishment after Ratil gave me no satisfaction in killing him. But sadly, Renegades fell on my second attempt, leaving me a bit empty. Oh, for fuck's sake. Oh, wait. Ooh. Hey, second try, let's go. With Renegades beat, I would go back to Sumuma. It was at this point I would also start the occasional stream of my attempts. Sumuma tested me over the span of a couple days, as I struggled with her movement, the size, the enemies, the damage reduction, the damage I needed to deal to her, and ultimately I did defeat her, but off stream. Come on. Oh, fuck yes, we're free. Oh, we're free. Oh my god. The next stream I loaded up was Locust of Wailing Grief.
Oh, I fucked up, I didn't.
This took me a while too. The main issue was being okay with the freezing debuff and not wasting too much time, whilst also getting him into an advantageous position, and doing this on top of managing all my buffs and all the ads. The Ogre fell with a little sabotage from chat and myself, and overall was probably one of my most fun bosses.
Oh, you fucking... Fuck.
No! Oh my fucking god. Oh my fucking god. Bro, I almost fumbled the bag so hard. I almost fumbled so fucking hard. Effend was up next, and is a pretty unique case, as each floor is only the mechanics to push the boss up towards an actual damage phase. However, you can do a significant amount of damage on each floor. Me and Chen agreed that killing the boss on any floor before actual damage would suffice for this challenge, and as I thought 3 floors would be too easy, I limited myself to 2. A 1 floor is theoretically possible, and by the time I'm editing this has probably already been done, but at the time...
The last one missed, that would have been... What were you doing over there, you fucking...
Looking like we're in a position just doing unnecessary ads. You know what I mean? I'm taking off. Yeah. I put this way.
Oh, thank fuck.
With Heaven being defeated, I had 4 dungeons left. Spire, Vespers, Equilibrium, and Thunder Doctrine. As Thunder Doctrine only has 1 boss that you can one-phase, I wanted to take this dungeon off first. Lockset was easy in theory, and saw the last appearance of my Warlock. 2 Chaos Reaches, 50% per super, and an easy one-phase. But that was easier said than done. Surviving was an issue, but also the lineup. If I was off by a couple of pixels, my damage would tank and I would lose up to 50% of my damage. It was a lesson in consistency and accuracy.
Oh, fuck yes. Oh.
I wanted to leave Spire and Vespers for the last as they were the hardest bosses.
Nah.
So Harrow was up
just
first, and this is where things took a turn for the worse. Inconsistency, physics, a stupid boss AI eroded at my sanity and my mental health. Until I eventually cleared. The hardest boss fell. It was over.
Very beautiful Titan you have there.
And then when I went to save the recording, I was hit with an encoder error. The video failed to save, the kill was lost. And I quit. I had spent the previous weeks working up to 14 hours a day, grinding attempts after work for 5 hours, and then barely sleeping. I pushed myself to the limit and I broke. It would take me weeks to recover, and playing different games. I restarted at Harrow, and the muscle memory and the repressed rage re-emerged quickly. And Harrow fell for a second time. Keeping the momentum from Harrow, Seer felt like a breath of fresh air, but presented a new challenge. Buff refreshing, damage resistance, and timing. I was adamant about starting in the Taken Realm, but that caused me to lose time and not kill over and over again. As a solution, I watched Solo Record as a reference to inspire me. I tried their strats and cleared within 3 attempts, and the kill was even faster than theirs, even if it was just by 1 second. I felt like I was finally making progress. But I didn't realize the cliff I was approaching. Percy's. Arguably the hardest boss. The first recorded one phase happening this season as far as I'm aware. He is unforgiving by nature. Tight timings, high damage, and little chance. This was the first dungeon I had faced where I didn't even consistently get to damage. And when I did, I usually died instantly. After consulting some Spire enthusiasts, making changes to my builds, and over 720 attempts, Percy's fell, and I was ecstatic. "20 out of 21 bosses done. Challenge nearing an end, light at the end of the tunnel, and Bungie announcing the ending live service. The news saddened me, made me question why I was doing this. What was the point? Months of my time, all this work for nothing. But ultimately, it motivated me. If this game is to end live service, if it is to come to an end, I want to leave a legacy. To have the ability to look back and not have regrets. To finish my journey on a high. And what a fitting way to end to. Vesper's Host, my favorite dungeon. Puppeteer, a fight of attrition, a long fight and a lot to lose. Wrong footing, I die. Standing still or not paying attention, I die. If I mismanage my buff, I fail. It's a culmination of everything I was forced to learn in the dungeons prior. I threw myself at the encounter after work over and over, and then when I woke up the next day, I had a little time before work. And this happened. The puppeteer fell. The challenge over. My journey ended. And no reaction. I just sat there, trembling but otherwise emotionless. Over 11,000 hours. Countless memories, lifelong friends, and pushing myself to the limits. It all came to an end in that moment. I'm grateful to have taken this journey, to have interacted with such an amazing community, and I'm sure this isn't the end. We are destined to see each other again, even if it's under different circumstances. Until then, per audacia ad astra. See you, Starside Guardian.